Chat, I'm sauced. I don't know why I'm saying chat. This is a vlog.
Welcome back to another goddamn floating head video. Bro. You know me, man. It's Classics Cam, and this is a recap of my year. I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk to y'all about what this year has looked like for me and what it has kind of taught me as far as how I want to navigate the world and things of that nature, bro. It's been an amazing year. Honestly, it's been filled with blessings. Like I've done, and I don't think this has been like my most eventful year as far as like things that I've necessarily accomplished or experienced, but I do think for me this was just a year of like foundational growth, quite frankly. I mean, I started my content journey for real, like actually putting out content regularly. I started in like, I want to say January, and I was consistent until like April, around birthday in like May. And then I found myself in a relationship, and I realized that me being a person that I am just not going to produce the content that I like to produce these videos while in a romantic relationship, because I was just finding myself not wanting to put anything out, because it was always, the person I was with was always my girlfriend, and that's my personal life, and I don't really want niggas involved in my personal life, because once you bring somebody into your, like, the internet into your story, you know, there's only so much you can have control of, and that's one of those things I really wanted to maintain control of. So I try not to keep that on the internet, because you also just never know how long shit's gonna last or whatever. So if I'm not 100% sure of something or somebody, I don't want that to be on the internet. And so I did that. Damn, Blue, just knocking shit down. But I did that, you know. I experienced a relationship, brief as it may have been, for the first time in a while, and just really seeing where I was at the time, and just kind of where my headspace was, rushing into that experience, knowing that I wouldn't do it again, rushing into no shit like that. I definitely learned to take my time with things like that, especially just taking my time to consider the choices brought before me, or the options I have as a young man. You know what I'm saying? So that was probably like the start of my year, but that was a beautiful experience nonetheless. And just kind of also navigating that content in the beginning of the year, trying to figure out how I want my content to be, what I'm looking to produce, how I want niggas to see my shit, how I want to edit, like what do I want my style to be. And that is what I found last year in that brief period. Like I know how I want my videos to look, because I've made so many that now it's kind of like I have an idea for when I record this vlog, these are the angles I want to hit, or this is the lighting I need in order to get the kind of color rate I'm looking for on this footage. And that was a learning curve for sure, because in the beginning, like when I first was making videos back in like 2023, them shits was terrible. And it wasn't just like the shit I was recording, but it was the way I was recording it and the way that I was talking. It just wasn't enjoyable footage, and like I wouldn't have watched the 30-minute video back then. But like now, if I turn on one of my vlogs, I'm tuned in all, like the whole hour. You know what I'm saying? So just putting out things that I like and I enjoy was just such a hard bridge to gas, because I'm putting out, you know, the videos I'm putting out are an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and to watch an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of footage, and that takes time, and learning how to dedicate that time to that singular task and just stay focused and locked in on editing is something I had to get used to, especially considering I used to hate editing, because I used to hate watching my own videos. Like I used to not enjoy watching my own videos because I wanted to be surprised when I put the video out. But now it's like I can edit the video and still enjoy the content I put out post drop. And like learning that I'm coming to understand that I'm doing this shit for me. Like I enjoy making content, I enjoy editing my vlogs, I enjoy watching my vlogs, I enjoy watching my life in hindsight. So I do it for me. I know what I'm doing it for now and who I'm doing it for real. Like I want you guys to enjoy the videos, of course, but at the same time I'm doing this shit because it's something I love to do. But yeah, so just figuring that out, that was a lot for me. And a lot of these, reading these books, finding my love for reading again, because last year I wasn't really reading that often, finding my love for reading again, because honestly, and it's low-key crazy to think about, but like this whole book collection I bought this year. Like I got rid of all of my books a while ago, and I kind of restarted, and I have a lot of books, and I've read almost every single one of these in its entirety, a couple of them twice. So finding my love for reading again, and that is where we get into my best reads of 2025. So we're gonna start with I think the first one that I read this year was Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King. Honestly, she's kind of dirty. She's kind of dusty. Haven't opened this book in a while, but this is And it's kind of crazy. This book has like this foldable cover. Super interesting. It's a very small book, but honestly, I don't read a lot of self-help books because I don't believe in them. Like, I'd rather just go to therapy, but this book is really good. It talks about like meditation. That was like the first thing that really stood out to me. And there was a page about, before you try to fix somebody else's vibe, make sure you're not killing your own in the process. Protect your own energy first. And that's a big thing for me, because at a point in my life, I feel like I was trying to fix people or be the most positive person in the room. And that's just not ideal. That's not real life. And finding myself in that and finding out how I want to navigate relationships this year was real important, especially in my workplace. I feel like I run into that a lot, where it's kind of like I either have to choose to be down with people and be irritated with the people who are irritated and allow their irritation to impact my feelings, because I deal with a lot of either angry people working in the hospitality industry or angry coworkers, whatever it is, just kind of navigating those relationships. And even in my personal life, there was a point where like my family's negative relationships or my friendships, negative relationships would impact my mental health, to the point where it was like, I'm always upset because everybody around me is putting me in these positions where my mind is racing, and now I'm uncomfortable and I'm upset. But this year I really found myself rooted in me being who I am and feeling how I feel based off of my experience, not based off the experiences of those around me or that they are causing for me. So this book helped me to come to those conclusions. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And I think it's a great read, honestly. Like this specific page, I really liked. I'm gonna read it to y'all. They will call you quiet because you're perfectly happy in silence. They will call you weak because you avoid conflict and drama. They will call you obsessed for being passionate about the things you love. They will call you rude for not engaging in social presences. They will call you arrogant for having self-respect. They will call you wrong for having different beliefs. They will call you boring for not being an extrovert. They will call you shy when you choose not to interact in small talk. They will call you weird because you choose not to conform to societal trends. They will call you fake for trying your best to remain positive. They will call you a loner because you're comfortable being on your own. They will call you lost for not following the same route as others. They will call you a geek for being a knowledge seeker. They will call you ugly for not looking like celebrities. They will call you dumb for not being an academic. They will call you crazy for thinking differently from others. They will call you cheap for knowing the value of money. They will call you disloyal for distancing yourself from negative people. Let them call you what they want. You don't have to play the part they want you to play. Create your own part in the world. Create your own part to play in the world. So yeah, this book, definitely a great read. Especially for somebody like me who's kind of always struggled to find their place in the world, their place in with people. I'm also trying to stop saying but definitely just a really good read. I recommend it to anybody kind of trying to navigate interpersonal relationships. For me, therapy is really helpful with that, but also I think like every once in a while, a good book. And another one that I read at the beginning of the year is going to be Outliers. Damn, one of my books dropped. This is just essentially a book about how if you continue to put yourself in the right places at the right time and work on the right skill sets, you will eventually get the right outcome. Yeah. And so that's kind of the same thing with the content. If I continue to put out videos, if I continue to put myself out there and make quality work and build the skill set to create good content and record good videos and quality editing skills, right? Eventually those videos will do well and they'll continue to do well. And when time comes for me to either have that blow up or have those brand deals, I'll have put myself in the position and have the body of work to accomplish those tasks. Funnily enough, all the nonfiction books that I'm going to show y'all are white, which makes weird. And then this book is called Think Again by Adam Grant, another one of my 5-star reads this year. Phenomenal book, phenomenal fucking book. It talks a lot about, it literally just talks about how we need to second guess ourselves more. And that is literally the most important thing I've learned this year, is just to question my own decision making and think before I do. Because a lot of times people who feel like they are intelligent or know what they're doing or talking about tend to just go with what they believe is right, even in the face of adversity or conflicting opinions. And when it's your opinion, it feels like you can never be wrong, but that's not entirely true, just because context matters. And sometimes we're misinformed and we're forming these opinions off misinformation. You can always be wrong, but it's embarrassing to be loud and wrong, so get that shit together. And it's very also annoying. The next book that I'm going to show y'all is part of a series called Red Rising. It is one of my favorite book series that I have ever read in my life. It is by Pierce Brown. 3 of the books in the series of 6 books thus far have made it to be in my 5-star reads this year. And 2 of them are in the original trilogy, and then 1 of them is in the spin-off, like the continuation of the series. Phenomenal books, literally phenomenal books. They touch a lot on oppression, systems of privilege and power. They touch on the systems of gender equality. They touch on mental illness, PTSD, types of war. It's just a really amazing series. It's a space opera. They are divided by colors, and they all have different abilities, like different places in society, and they're literally genetically designed to do those roles. And that's not to say that a pink can't be a warrior, but a pink is typically a pleaser. That's all they can do. That's all they're there for. So it's a really good book. It's very interesting. We deal with a lot of grief in that book. We see the characters go through the sorrow and try to grow and change, and we learn about them and their history and the deep, intense blood feuds that go on across space, and kind of what life looks like if we had left Earth in this manner. I mean, that's all a space opera is, but a really fucking good book. Touches on a lot of really interesting topics. It's not necessarily like the most eye-opening book for me, or book series for me, but there are just a lot of moments that make me go, that is crazy. And that is very close to real life. Another book, I read this series, Magnolia Parks. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark is the 5th installment in the series. I think there's going to be another book. I don't quite remember, but I believe she's writing a 6th one for the other side, because every book is a perspective switch. This book is one of the most emotionally impactful books I have ever read in my life. I was actually shedding like genuine tears by the end of the book. The shit was so powerful. And mostly because the book deals a lot with the death of a sibling. That is a spoiler, so I guess spoiler alerts. The book deals a lot with the death of the sibling and the grief to overcome that. Personally, I don't think I would be able to make it. And the way seeing that character go from this like spoiled, bratty, annoying, kind of opinionated, she learns about her, or she learns how to deal with autism, she learns how to deal with conflict, she learns how to communicate properly. The growth we see in this book through this moment, I mean, it's been happening, but after the death of their sister, she has to not only break past her previous trauma, but now break past finding her lifeless sister. And it is literally so insanely real, quite frankly. It's... Hello, mother. Huh? Sorry, my mom was talking to me. It is so insanely impactful and so close to home, because I know that if I had lost my brother, I don't know what I would do. Especially when in a period of my life where I was in a period of change and transition, especially emotionally, and physically in life. So yeah, that book right there, shorty, it had me crying tears the whole time. Sometimes tears of happiness at the end, to see the growth from Magnolia and just to see her live her happy life and finally figure things out with her family. Like it was beautiful and amazingly written. So yeah, that was another one. That was a 6-star. That was 6-star. And Lightbringer was also a 6-star. Bloodmarked, 6-star. Not gonna lie. 6 stars. So this book, it received a lot of attention from me, mostly because, and Oathbound, this next book in the series, also 6-star. Received a lot of love from me, mostly because they're by a Black author, and upon the time of the release of Oathbound, it was kind of getting foreshadowed by another series I am going to talk about. And not to say that the other series isn't good, it's a great book, but I do think that this one deserved a lot more love outside of the Black community. It is about a Black girl who becomes the heir apparent of a kind of uptight white society in which they don't really accept her. Also, I just got off work, that's why I'm just like this. But they don't really accept her for who she is, and that's kind of the premise of the book, is finding her way in that society, and then also finding her roots within herself in her own community that looks like her, sounds like her, all of those things. Because she is powerful in both lineages. In both communities, she is powerful. She is unique. So just seeing her kind of navigate both worlds, trying to find her place in the world, is super, super interesting and evokes a lot of emotion. Being a Black person growing up in non-Black spaces, it can be kind of confusing. A lot of people don't understand that, and that's okay. Obviously, it's not the best thing in the world, but to see her be who she is throughout all of it is absolutely beautiful to see, and I couldn't love it more. So that was another one of my 6-star reads this year. The book that overshadowed it a lot, Onyx Storm. Honestly, can't even hate on it. Really good book, 5 stars, phenomenal. It's about some dragon riders. Who cares? And the last one, The Will of the Many, a very good book, another 5-star read. The second one did come out. I'm kind of forcing myself to read that. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but this one was really good. Yeah, so that's all my book reviews. As far as plans for next year, I really just want to focus on this for you guys and then also my podcast. So those were kind of my 2 major focuses, as well as my real estate license and then just becoming a successful real estate agent. So next year, we're definitely just going to set ourselves up for success. Set ourselves up for success. That was crazy. So that looks like setting goals in advance, setting milestones, setting markers, just being conscious and aware of how I can achieve the things I want to achieve and the pace at which I'm willing to do so. So yeah, that was my brief book recap and sort of life recap of 2025. That was most of what I went through. I had a game night for my brother. I didn't go any. I don't even think I took a trip this year. Low key, I didn't take a trip this year. I literally didn't do nothing. This year was literally all work, no play. I went to probably 8 concerts though. That was fire. I seen The Sacred Souls. I seen Tyler the Creator. I seen Raven Lene. I didn't see Smino or Tay Shakur, sadly, but I did see. I think I seen Isaiah Rashad this year. You know, I don't know. I seen a lot of people this year. I seen Lil Yachty. I didn't go to Summer Smash, but I did do a lot. I mean, I did a lot this year. I'll never sit back and say I didn't do a lot. I tried a lot of new food. I've been to new places. I've experienced new people. I've made new friends. I had an amazing year. Thank you for coming with me. I played in the men's league for the first time. Like I'm saying, thank you for being on this journey with me, and I hope you appreciated the moments because I did as well. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for coming into the new year with me. Happy New Year.